Welcome to Inside the Firm, a podcast dedicated to small business owners and hosted by entrepreneurs, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko. Each week, they take you on their journey of how to start, run, and grow a business by bringing you inside their architecture and real estate development firm. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of how these business leaders manage their clients and foster company culture while creating new and innovative projects. And now your hosts, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko.
Welcome to another edition of Inside the Firm. I have Lance Follows Psychos with Al leading Gore.
Al leading Gore.
We have another great edition for you today. We're going to talk about the future of the business, what's going on. NAHB, I'm continually impressed with what they're doing. I don't know if you probably haven't finished that one episode.
Not yet.
National Association
I'm going
of Home Builders. I've actually started to look on their website. They have like what they're advocating for and stuff like that. So I think it could really help.
I've also looked into the membership.
Yep.
Next month is my target date because it does cost money.
Yeah,
it's not cheap.
Well,
but the fees are. I really feel morally succinct with paying those fees for those guys much better than the AIA, just because they align with, I think, what I would align with. Like, let's at some point we got to deregulate. Their criticisms are one-to-one with mine.
Okay, but this is what I would want to look up.
What?
And kind of see where they're going, because we've read their articles about how they basically say all these code additions and stuff like that are adding on to the cost of home building. And they had an advocating group, and my stupid internet's not working. Maybe Microsoft is being messed up right now. Did you hear that?
There's a cyber attack.
Yeah. And they have an advocacy and a group just for codes. And I want to ask, like, are you pushing back on everyone adopting the newest thing every time? Are you pushing then I'm really, really aligned, right?
You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to join next month, and we're going to start getting some of these leaders from the NAHB on the podcast. How about that?
That's awesome.
And we're going to ask them just those questions.
I love it.
It'll be great.
I love it. And then we will have the three traits essential for entrepreneurial success. So that is great. First, let's kick it off with the news on the economy. Jobless claims hit highest level since August.
Well, we got to pay the bills.
Oh, yeah, we do. I went way too fast.
If you can't find the product data you're looking for, you might be using the wrong search engine. Broad searches result in consumer products, out-of-date information, and websites that hide or don't have the information you're looking for. If you need specifications, CAD or BIM, ARCAT.com is your search engine. Find and download the up-to-date data you need fast. ARCAT.com is free and requires no registration. So try ARCAT today. That's ARCAT.com.
How premature of me, right?
Yeah.
Also, go to RevitRocketShip.com. Take a look at what the bread and butter of what you do is in the production software that you have. If you can improve how you are working on that process and that templates and the systems that you do and the training that you have, you are solving probably 80% of the efficiency that you can glean out of what you're producing, right? Go to RevitRocketShip.com where you can train your staff, train yourself. You can get insights. You can adopt it. You can actually have our template and make you and your firm better. RevitRocketShip.com.
Also, last thing, if you want Al Gore's autograph, then August 13th, nichebm.com.
Yep.
Check it
Get
out.
there.
Yeah.
Get there.
I couldn't help myself. That's from last week, but
Yeah.
still happening. August 13th, 2024. Al Gore.
No, it's just hilarious that if anyone actually asks for my autograph,
What do you think I want for my birthday, guys? Yeah,
man.
And wouldn't it be awesome if it was like a portrait of himself?
Yeah.
And then he autographed it and gave it to me.
Really nice. It would be a sweet gesture, and then I would demand that it's up at your house.
Yep. I think if he actually does that, he can dictate where I have to place it in the house.
We'll do a walkthrough.
There you go.
That's right.
Okay, cool.
All right, now back to it. Jobless claims hit highest level since August. Basically, I'm going to...
August of last year, I guess?
Well, I'm going to scroll down
Okay.
and look. U.S. weekly jobless claims rise, right?
Uh-huh.
And if you look at the graph, if you keep going down, Lance.
Yep, I'm going down. Here we go.
There you go. It's about to populate itself. So they're going...
Oh, yeah.
Yep, they're going back up. They're at 243. About around last year, 265. And what I'll tell you an intelligence tip, and I can't stress how important this is. And it's called perspective. I'm serious.
Okay.
I'm
listening.
Absolutely serious.
Yeah.
It's what blinds people to making stupid decisions all the time. So, Lance, if you go to the second link that I have, jobless claims.
Yep.
If you go to that.
Oh.
Yep.
1 second here.
Right there.
Yep. Okay. Initial claims.
Perfect.
Yep.
So it's basically.
Oh man,
It is a whole bunch of the jobless claims going up and down, up and down.
Oh.
And then there's that huge COVID bump, right?
Look at this perspective he's giving us.
Yep. But take the back handle right there and shrink it down.
Oh, okay.
So that you get past COVID.
All right, past COVID.
Way past
COVID. Yep.
And then, do you see once you get past COVID? Oops, mine is being stupid now.
Okay.
There isn't any major bumps or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's not as alarming in the positive or
It swings
negative.
between, put it this way, for everybody's listening terrestrially, in about a 2-year span on this chart, it swings between a quarter million.
No, honestly, 200 to 250.
I'm just going to say like 50,000 jobs.
Yep.
I mean, that's not to poo-poo it. I'm just, this perspective is good.
Yep.
I agree. You know, it kind of leads into like sort of being an executive and having, that's why you're an executive. You have perspective. You can make decisions. Your lens is much bigger. You got to do it.
But that's as you go up the decision-making tree, those are the steps that you need to make.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So don't panic is what we're saying. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. Again, for the sixth time in the row, I'm going to say it on this show for the past 6 weeks or whatever. Is like people are uncertain. There's a stupid election going on, and the Federal Reserve is just holding. Everybody's in a holding pattern. So you just got to get through this in the next couple months, and I think things will open up a little bit. People are ready to do things. People want to do things. You just hold the calm, relax, keep the faith, all the things.
Yep.
Don't panic.
What do you got?
You can't panic as an executive. Let's see. I've got 2 things. Number 1, good friends at the NAHB. We just love them so much. Biden plan to cap rents at 5% would deter production, harm affordability. Of course it would. So I thought this was a great, anybody who's like a champagne socialist or just completely economically illiterate will think, oh, that's great. Now my rent nope, it's bad. Here's why it's bad. Okay. So Cal Harris, chairman of the National Association of Home Builders and a custom home builder from Wichita, Kansas, today issued the following statement after President Biden announced he is proposing to cap rents at 5% per year for landlords who own more than 50 units. Rent control in any form is bad for housing, and President Biden's tax plan to cap rents at 5% on existing multifamily structures will worsen the housing affordability crisis by discouraging developers from building new rental housing units at a time when the nation is experiencing a shortfall of 1.5 million housing units. These rent caps would also hurt existing tenants, those that the president is trying to help, because owners and developers would be unable to cover rising costs if rents are fixed. Leading economists in numerous studies over the years agree that rent control would aggravate affordability problems by exacerbating the housing shortage in America. Agree.
Can I add 2 more reasons why this would hurt? So there's a lot of huge funds out there. The states have their own funds, and they're basically pension funds. And there's a lot of rich people, and there's a lot of people putting money in different funds, right? And people and institutions and even those pension funds are looking for the best return. So they invest in tech sectors and residential sectors and all that. And if you cap like that, what these sectors can make, it means less investment money will go into them.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
The second thing, too, people have to understand how the government puts you into a bind, because they will, if they do that, they will cap it at 5%, but then they'll make more rules and more rules. Like, let's just say another COVID happens, and then they flush all this money, and then they make rules that you can't kick people out, and then you have to give everyone, I don't know, every unit now has to have ADA accessible, and you have to revamp everything. I'm going to the extreme so you see the point. all of a sudden, like your profit goes to zero or negative, and then all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of bankruptcies, and then the government has to come in and save that industry by printing a whole bunch of money and buying all those properties for a problem that they caused. And if you don't think that that could happen, if you think this is crazy, the same thing happened with the railroad industry. It started off all crazy, Wild West. The government came and controlled it because it was so Wild West and crazy. They over-controlled it. They almost killed it in the 70s and in the 80s.
What are you listening to?
I'll find the name here once we go to the next thing. They literally almost killed it, which is one of our America's strategic, basically benefits, or whatever word I'm looking for, is one, we are surrounded by oceans, so attack is pretty hard. 2, we have a great fertile land. 3, we have a lot of rivers that cut through that you can navigate. And then 4, we have the railway systems. All of those add up to an economic superpower.
Strategic resiliency, I think, is what you're looking for.
Yep. Economic superpower, right?
Yeah.
So if you kill 1 or 2 of those through the governments, like all of a sudden you can easily become a third world country.
Yeah.
Like one of the reasons why this is all a tangent, but you look at, how China has rise more rapidly than India, right? It goes to the industrialization of their train systems, of using massive equipment, because all of a sudden you get a force multiplier in there, and then other countries can't do that either because of geography or just, like what they're doing in their policies. So you could, these things that seem like the government are helping you can actually, and will probably actually kill you, And on both sides, the government could blow up our whole system and way of life just because of these freebies on each side, giving candy to their own thing, right? The debt this year was estimated to be at like $1.2 trillion that they're adding to this $30 trillion budget. Turns out right now it's like at $1.7, $1.9 trillion because of all the money that they gave for student loans and all the money that they gave to Ukraine. So it's like, oh, we're helping you. Debt bubbles are a real thing. Crashes are a real thing. Like, when have they ever not been a real thing? So just when people are trying to help you for free, just know that there's a cost. Like, that's not how the world works.
Yeah.
The world does not work like that. It never works like that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yep.
Be skeptical.
So one of the solutions is, if the Biden administration is serious about wanting to lower costs for renters, its policy should focus on increasing the rental housing supply. The best strategy to achieve this goal for the tax front is to strengthen the low-income housing tax credit, which is the best tool to finance the production of affordable rental housing. I agree. Beautiful. Okay, last thing here we've got is, I've been thinking about this. Like, what is it? What would I list if I was tasked with writing an article that was titled, and we're going to go into it in Forbes here, 3 traits of essential for entrepreneurial success. Here's my 3 traits that I think, like, if you knock one of these out, you will probably fail. I think number 1, you got to have a high risk tolerance. So you have to be able to be okay with risk and the unknowns. Number 2, an almost unending stream of stamina. Like, I just think about doing sales, right? You're like, oh man, how many times have I followed up, right? With these people. And right now in this economic environment, I swear I'm having to really touch base with people a lot and reassure them and stay on top of them. And it's because the hesitation, again, with this uncertainty and all the other things we mentioned previously in the show, is causing people to just, nobody's jumping right now. Like, it is a slower process for everything. And number 3 would be a high level of consistency. So what do you think?
I have 3.
Perfect. Oh, good. You write them down.
Yep. First one is positivity. You have to have a positive mind growth. You have to have a solution-oriented mind growth. You have to be positive, right? The second is innate in yourself. You must have that element of being a catalyst, meaning you have to be able to react quickly to situations. Catalyst is the scientific term, which is basically a reactant in whatever you're trying to do, right? Mm-hmm. So positivity, catalyst, and the last one, I'll call back to earlier in the show, you have to have perspective. You have to have perspective of what's going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see what Forbes has to add to it. So they got an article up here. This was actually this year. The 3 traits that are essential for entrepreneurial success. My entrepreneurial streak showed up early. I was a paper boy, walked the neighborhood looking for lawns to mow, and ran refreshment stands along parade routes in my hometown, a venture in which I hired friends to help. After getting my real estate license, I was in high school buying, fixing up, and selling a house, and then making a then impressive $5,500. The die was cast. I started my first company in 1978, and it is still around today. In my case, once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. Looking back over the 5-decade career, I've come to believe there are 3 traits a person needs to succeed as an entrepreneur. These are clear vision, persistence, and team building ability. Yeah, so I think like we're squaring the whole thing, right? We're gonna stay with a 3-3-3 here, a little Illuminati stuff.
There we go.
Yeah. So I would agree, man. Team building, yeah. Like, how do you even? You got to be able to build teams. You got to be able to inspire people. Persistence. It kind of goes with my consistency, and I think one of yours that was close to that.
Positivity.
Positivity, sure, and then clear vision. I don't know about the clear vision. I mean, maybe
Perspective. That goes with perspective.
Yeah.
With me.
Yeah, for sure. So that's all we got for you. Short and sweet this week. I need to go elk scouting. Al's, I don't know what he's doing. Cool stuff. Probably cool stuff. Look at this shirt. He should be on a boat.
Yep.
So if you like this episode, you're listening on the YouTube, like, subscribe, leave us a positive comment. If you're listening on the iTunes, please leave us a 5-star review. We'll see you next week.